So in the Gold Prayer Book, please turn to page 34. If you have the white binder, please turn to the first page titled Kadampa Center Prayers. We'll start by chanting Shakyamuni Buddha's mantra 3 times at the top of the page under the words Sunday Prayers. Tayata Om Mune Mune Mahamunaye Soha Tayata Om Mune Mune Mahamunaye Soha Tayata Om Mune Mune Mahamunaye Soha. And now we'll read the Medicine Buddha stanza and mantra. And if you have the white binder, please look at the blue sheet. Bhagawan with equal compassion for all, whose name, when merely heard, dispels the suffering of the lower realms, dispeller of disease and the 3 poisons, I prostrate to Medicine Buddha, lapis light. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Bekanze Radza Samugate Soha. Now let's read the 4 measurables in English 3 times. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. Now turn to page 37, and at the bottom of the page are 2 mantras. So let's chant Chenrezig's mantra 8 times. He's the Buddha of great compassion. And then Green Tara's mantra 7 times. She's the deity of enlightened activity. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Thank you. Now the children are welcome to go to their classes.
Good morning. Good morning. Maybe short meditation. Okay, maybe few hours. Maybe 5 minutes silent meditation. Thank you. Would you mind to take please one moment to introduce yourself? Kamala. So today, this morning, we divided the group and talk about this.
Find the book?
No, no, divide the group, small group, discuss
Okay.
about this.
All right.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hello. They couldn't hear the other. I heard that one. Okay. So Geshe would like us to split into groups and discuss this topic. How do we deal with persistent self-hatred and negative thoughts? Okay. How do we deal with persistent self-hatred and negative thoughts? And then we'll come back together again and if you share the shots. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So would anyone like to comment on how we deal with persistent self-hatred and negative thoughts? Just raise your hand.
I feel like after years here of trying to absorb Buddhist teachings, the answer to the question is you study the kinds of thinking and go through the various teachings that we have here, and it's all designed to help you avoid self-hatred and to have positive thoughts, as we're constantly told. And therefore, the best way to get away from that kind of thinking, if you are finding you have a lot of it, is to come here or to obtain Buddhist teachings and take it seriously.
This topic certainly leaves a lot open for discussion. And probably every one of us here has had various experiences on the matter. We talking about looking at ourselves and it's easy to look at our weaknesses. The natural tendencies or the natural man in us is like water flowing to the weakest point, and it takes an effort to change that. And oftentimes we don't want to look in the mirror at who we truly are. We need to. We don't want to look to see our bad points, but many times we don't want to see our good points either. I personally have had experience of complimenting people on something good, and they would feel self-confident or take offense at it. But as we live our lives in the shell that surrounds us, we see things a certain way, and we think, well, I'm not that way, or I am that way, and somebody else on the outside can say, sorry, you're wrong, because they see us differently. But there's a lot of good resource material that can help us to find that positive nature within us. And as we look at ourselves and we become objective at our weaknesses, we can see where we need to change, but we also need to be objective in our strengths as well, and utilize those strengths to not only build upon them, but to use them in helping to overcome our weaknesses. And because it's a great journey to do this, to fulfill ourselves, I think requires the assistance or the aid of other people around us to help each other on the same journey, on the same path. And by doing that, there's a lot that we can learn, there's a lot that we can accomplish. No matter how much we can do on our own, there's still a lot more we can do with the involvement of those around us. Thank you.
Lots of hands now.
So one of the things that I was thinking of is, well, first of all, a lot of different moving components, right? So Geshe always says, think something positive. Like the whole point of meditation isn't to sit like a chicken, right? That's one of my favorite things when I'm explaining like meditation to other people and they ask me about it. It's not like just sitting here quiet like a chicken and trying to be quiet. It's about thinking something positive. And that really helps out a lot when I'm able to do that on a daily basis. Like it takes practice, right? My mind didn't get negative. Like every night it was like many, many lifetimes my mind got very negative. So being able for me to personally understand that and to obviously, like someone else said, is like ignorance, right? So I have ignorance until I understand what truth is, and the truth is brought to me by the teachings. So through the teachings, I start to have awareness and gain awareness of that, and then to practice those teachings in my day-to-day life, which helps to remove some of those negative thoughts. But there's other things as well, Geshe talks about like chakras and things like that. And I think that's really important in being able to understand when those things are off and being able to align those. And there's different ways you can do that as well. But meditation is really, really important. Also being able, once we learn the teachings, we understand what true compassion is. And true compassion, if we understand and start to implement the practices that are taught to us, true compassion for others also means true compassion for ourselves, right? So when I start to actually have true compassion for myself, then I don't hate myself, right? So if I'm truly showing compassion and I'm truly practicing the principles of Buddhism and being a spiritual being, then I shouldn't hate myself. When I do hate myself, it's because I'm coming out of a deluded thinking, ignorant thinking, and I'm not seeing reality for what it is. But when I'm able to see reality for what it is, I can let some of that stuff go.
I have never personally felt any self-hatred, but I did feel a strong dislike of myself when I was a teenager and I was doing things that I was not supposed to do. This said, I think that if somebody is experiencing self-hatred, the first thing that we need to do is to think, why is it that I feel this way? What is causing me to feel that I'm worthless, or whatever other negative thought that it may be causing that self-hatred? That's the number one thing. Once you have done that, then you can do what you were saying and other people have mentioned, and look at the Buddhist teachings and say, okay, well, you know what? This is what I need to do. I need meditation. I need other things where will allow us to have compassion first for ourselves and then for the rest of humankind and all sentient beings. I personally have not been able to accomplish that yet. I don't have compassion for Trump, and I don't have compassion for anybody that wants to hurt nature. So I want to kill them all. That's not good. This is the reason why I'm here. And it's you laugh, but this is really true. so we need to. Yeah, it is very scary. Please, it's very scary. So that's the reason why I'm here. But so we need to learn to get that compassion. To learn how to be compassionate to others. But first, we need to be compassionate to ourselves. I'm in the first stage only. That's it. But anyway, that's it.
I agree. I mean, it's an important topic that a lot of people can feel various degrees of depression or the like. And I remember when there was a time in my life when I would learn something that seemed like everybody else knew and it was kind of obvious. I would say to myself, how stupid, I didn't know that, And so it's easy to think, there's a lot going on in the world, and more than most of us can really take in, and it's easy to be overwhelmed by that. Our group said a lot about working with others, getting outside of yourself, taking the focus off of yourself and working with others. I know I have had experience with this kind of feeling, and an exercise that I was taught was to either think of someone you love, or think of a child, or think of yourself as a child, and think that there's someone else there saying to that child or that person you love that you're no good, you'll never amount to nothing, you're worthless. And think about how you would behave to protect that child or that friend of yours or that loved one from someone saying that to yourself. And then or saying that to them, and then think of that on yourself and think about the words that you're saying to yourself, and separate them, you know, from who you are. You recognize, you know, I'm saying I'm no good, and I recognize those words, but that's not the real truth of who I am. And you kind of just observe those words when they come up. You know, I recognize I'm saying I hate myself again, but that's not the whole of who I am, and you can just observe them and not hold on to them, not cling to them so tightly.
I think it's kind of ironic, speaking from personal experience, that when you've kind of feel like you've hit rock bottom, and you for whatever reason in terms of how you feel about yourself or your situation, that that's when you need compassion the most. And you can look out in the world when somebody's done something really horrible, whatever it may be. It's very, in our Western mindset, it's very typical to really put some hardcore judgment on somebody, and the act could be really, really horrible. That's probably when the person needs the most compassion and understanding for what they've done. But I find it ironic that we a lot of times want to deny ourselves that. One thing is, I think a lot of times this, it's an energy that arises in us, a very, very negative energy. And again, just speaking from my own personal experience, there's a desire to do something, to react in some way. It could be various different things, maybe not eating healthy, it could be whatever. It could be speeding, it could be whatever, or having negative thoughts. But the reality is that energy is really empty, because it's not going to stay there for the rest of your life. It's going to pass. It's actually empty in essence. So I think it's helpful to try and just realize and just let that energy be there. Don't try to push it away. Don't deny it. Don't resist it. Just go, well, it's like with all this snow. The snow will eventually be gone, or whatever storm is passing in your life, it's a temporary manifestation of what is. And I just want to share very quickly something I heard from Pema Chodron, which is an acronym called FEAR. F, find whatever this energy is, find where it's manifesting in your body, embrace it. I like to think of embracing it like you would, if you can, like a baby, whatever negative feeling, and that's part of bringing compassion to yourself, allowing the thoughts and feelings around it to pass, because they will. Sometimes I say, give it 30 minutes, just self. So.
Yeah, I also think the work that I do in prison, the greatest task, the most difficult task is helping these guys realize that they have innate goodness, right? They don't believe that they're actually good. Also, their behavior, their crimes don't bear it out. That's not just relegated to people in prison. That's all of us. We don't really believe in our innate goodness, right? And our actions and our behavior don't bear that out. But we are innately good, and we forget that we actually have done good things in our lives, right? We have loved someone. We've had compassion for someone. We've been patient with someone. We have done good things, but we don't focus on that. We only focus on the things that we've done wrong, right? And so that leads to this self-hate that we have for ourselves. I think one of the reasons that people don't want to meditate, I certainly didn't want to meditate because I didn't want to hear my thoughts. My thoughts were negative. And I don't want to sit there and listen to my thoughts, right? You know, so I had to learn how, as Pema Chodron says, sit with the fire, sit in the fire. I had to learn how to sit there with my negative thoughts, recognize them, that, yeah, this is true. I got these thoughts. I have this shadow self that Jung talked about. Absolutely. But I also have this light. I have this goodness, right? And so I began to focus on that. So this negative self-talk, I began to transform that to positive talk. Not boasting or anything like that, but recognize I have done something good, right? And focusing on that. It's a process. It takes time. Didn't get this way overnight. I'm not going to change overnight. I was telling the guys here, I'm 66 years old. I had 66 years of negative thought. Forget about past lives. Just 66 years of negative thought, right? You know, it's like, so now in my life, I'm making this turn, right? And it's possible. We can do it, but only if we go back and realize I am innately good. I am valuable. I am worth something. I have done good. I can continue to do good, right? And then we go from there.
To echo what Andre is saying, a lot of times I try to, when I'm going through these change in life or these experiences where I may doubt myself, I dive into learning, to understanding what is causing that conflict within myself. And then I set out to model the behavior that I want for others, and hope that it will then have a ripple effect.
I know it's hard when you've had people say, like, you're worthless, like, you know, like, why are you even alive when you're trying to do the best that you can, have people shove it in your face. But that's not your truth. That's them. Like, maybe they have some kind of self-hatred for themselves and they're just projecting it on you. But I try and step outside of myself, do like different things that help other people, and like reflect on how I'm feeling, like everyone else said, and just process my thoughts and see where they're coming from and how they're affecting you, and know that it's not true. Like, I try and look at myself in the mirror and see the positive about myself. Like, it's just hard when you've had so many years of like people telling you you're not good enough, especially people you're close to, and it really hurts. But you know, I have to live with myself and I can't let that define me. So thank you.
Mike is sleeping with me. Oh, thank you for all your oh, wonderful advice. How to deal with self-hatred. So just want to read, some quote from Shantideva's books. Okay, this is chapter number, I think it's like chapter number 5. Even though you are not able to read whole books, reading this, here, there, a little bit, it helps. It helps. If you then, top of that, if you can remember the message from the Shantideva books, that helps. So this is. This chapter is about how to meditate on, or how to educate yourself on as Shi Jin. How many you have the chapter number 5?
No, I don't.
So just call like 1 second, please. Make sure I get the right translation. Actually, that mind that analyze when you meditate, called shishin, called introspections, analyze. Oh. Just want to read this here a little bit. Actually, it's about how to keep your mind on single object. Why? Because that helps. That's the technique they use how to make your mind calm and peaceful. So that's the technique they use, single-pointed, you call single-pointed meditations. Try to keep your mind on one single object. Try to keep it there and make sure that object is visible, clear, and like sharp. So that's what they do, and this book has been written like 7th century, around 7th centuries. That book is written by one of the Indian masters around 7th centuries. So still being used. And in monastery we memorize this. Monks, they remember whole books by heart. They remember their books. Semji Langbo, Semji Langbo. Sem means mind, Langbo means elephant. Langbo in Tibetan like elephant. Yenta means not paying any attention, on that elephant. Not paying any attention. Yenta name never chapatas. Then it will create so much distractions, so much problem, so much sufferings. If we don't pay attention to our mind, look, someone else also probably cause problems, but your own mind can cause a lot of problems, not just So the reason I'm reading this book so that when you look at the books, you will find exactly the same thing. And then I didn't just made it up last night. Lanje Matu Nyoba is Tina Mishes. Lanje Matul means wild elephant. Matul means untamed. Untamed elephant has not been tamed. So that's considered as dangerous. So probably none of you encounter elephant, therefore probably you have no any fear of elephant. I myself encountered a wild elephant, so in monastery, like around 5 o'clock, there's a lot of elephant comes close to monastery because they are coming close to eat the corn we grow. Sometimes accidentally you are just faced with the den. It's very interesting. One time me and a group of my friend, after the class, we are taking short walk. All of a sudden, you hear this noise, and there's also like a lot of snakes. Sometimes there's cobras. They make noise. I look around, and I see there's looks like a piece of rock, and then start to move. Turns out there's elephant. When you see a single one, that's more dangerous. If you see the group, so they're not that dangerous, but it's dangerous. If you see the single one, that's more dangerous. So that I just, there's no bodhicitta, there's no compassion. even the whole year to study about compassion. You have your group of your friend, you just run after it to save your life. You don't think about this. And I just shouted elephant, and everybody run there. So I cannot feel anything. I could not feel anything because there's so much fear. I don't know. I kind of like my mind and body separated, maybe a couple of minutes. The local people, they are coming towards monastery to sell milk with a bicycle. And I say elephant, they just throw bicycles. So, they fear the elephant. That's just wild elephant, untamed wild elephant. Langje matu, so langje matu nyobayis. Not just untamed wild, on top of this crazy elephant. Yeah, could cause so much damage, but not like our mind. Our mind probably cause more damage than that untamed wild elephant, if you see one. So what do you do? So then the Shantideva probably suggesting here, so something that we should all pay attention. So kunde tembe takbayis. So now what you need, instead of running away from that elephant and maybe probably so we do all kind of things. So here Shantideva suggests kunde tembe takbayis. Takpa, rope. Takpa means rope. Temba, mindfulness. What do you need? You need rope, like mindfulness, like rope. You need mindfulness. You need to be mindful. There's a rope. Simji langbo tamtanas. If you can tie, if you can tie with that rope as you can tie that elephant, which is like mind, untamed mind, wild mind, untamed mind, with rope, which is considered as a mindfulness. If you can manage to tie that elephant, if you can tie that elephant, all the fear, jigba means fear. All, tamje means all, measures will disappear. So what do you think now? Isn't that true? Who said Shantideva? When? Around 7th century. So this is the Shantideva was trying to explain the benefit of single-pointed meditations. Sit, then being mindful of the object, single object. There's not many elephants. You can, that's what we do. We are thinking to how to tame that person, educate that person. There's too much to worry. So just worry about your own mind. Just able to tie one elephant, that's more than enough. Rather than worrying about all other wild elephants. Kunni tembe takpa semje lambo tamta na jigba tamje measure gewa tamje la jigba tamje means jigba fear tamje means all measurement disappear. So just gewa tamje ladong gewa tamje, then all the goodness comes in your hand. All the goodness comes into your hand.
Geshe, I found the translation.
Well, what is it?
Let's see, the second stanza is, in this world, unsubdued and crazed elephants are incapable of causing such harms as the miseries of the deepest hell, which can be caused by the unleashed elephant of my mind. And then the next stanza, however, if the elephant of my mind is firmly bound on all sides by the rope of mindfulness, all fears will cease to exist, and all our virtues will come into my hand.
Yeah, so there's Shantideva was telling all of us, all of us who has going through all kind of problems based on our perceptions, our thought. So now this is the answer. That's what we should do. If you are interested. So then just this mind, not thinking of all. Shantideva says just this mind means our own mind, rather than worrying about someone else's mind to tame. That's going to be a nightmare. If you can train this one mind, that's like taming everything. So so just want to share this. So now it's kind of like summary. All the fears, all the dungapa to unceasing unceasing sufferings. These are all due to our mind. But we don't think like that. We think, oh, that's due to my neighbors, or due to my friends. It's not like that. Or due to my government. That's not true. That's what Buddha said in his teaching. So then just want to share this. Then it goes on here. Tedar Jigdian Sumbona, Jigdian Sum, three world or three universe, or you can say three realms, down, above, then what do you call? Sao means underground. Sateng means on the ground. Sala means, how you say, underground, or underground, on the ground, or above, yeah. Underground, on the ground, above. That's called three realms. So, so in these three realms, the mind is the one that needs to be fearful. So can you read that? So anyway, so chapter number 5. If you read the beginning of the chapter number, maybe a few more stanzas, you'll find that there. Okay. So, single-pointed meditations, using your breath, doing 9-round breathing meditation, and just simply sit down. And of course, as I said this many times, probably more than a million times, you need to, before you meditate, any form of meditation you do, that you need to analyze your mental state. You can't meditate with a negative mindset. Your mind has to be neutral or positive. That's the best way to start your meditations. So once you realize your mind is kind of like unsettled, so then you start with the breathing meditation, 21 breathing meditations. Then you breathe forcefully from nose. That's all the force I have. So then you do that. Then imagine that that unsettled mind comes out of your body and goes out of the home, then out of the universe. So then do that 21. Inhale, so Jugmu. So 21 breathing meditation. First you exhale. Then 1. Then each time you inhale, you count in your mind, Then you do that 21 times. 21 times. All the problems that we face, individual problems, the problem that associated with the environment, the being in the environment, and then all the problems, So. It's coming from mind. It's actually coming from mind. Coming from mind. So see, now it's very interesting. If you are afraid when you encounter a dog, when you go around the park, So I was bitten by rabies dog when I was 13 years old. So I have a lot of fear towards them. Not now, used to have a lot of fear. So they sense right away. One person, kind of like excited to see the dog. One person is not that excited, not just excited, but also worried. So the dog sense right away. Dog sense. Dogs is amazing. They sense your fear right away. So they act kind of aggressive towards you because you are not very from inside. You are not friendly towards that dog because you don't believe. So the dog sense that right away, kind of amazing. So now yesterday I saw one video clip. Somebody approaching wild elephant, bull, huge. Somehow that person stood in front of the elephant quite a long time. That the person has no fear. That person believes the that elephant is gentle. Somehow the elephant reads your mind somehow. I don't know how they the same like dog, they read my mind. The dog, they read my fear when I approach to them. They don't matter like it's very interesting. So now see like it's all like the mind. So that's why sometimes I'm not sure in the American people you believe in ghosts or not. In Asia we do talk about ghosts a lot. So one of the meditation they suggest to do to encounter that fear. Somebody says, "Oh, I have ghosts in my house. What should you do?" First thing you're thinking of some kind of like wrathful, like how is the actions to take. That's not best. So His Holiness Dalai Lama suggests you meditate on compassion. You have no idea how much suffering they go through. You just worry about like they're gonna hurt you. That's all you think. You don't think about how much suffering they go through. When you focus on that, when you focus on how much suffering they go through, you focus on that. It's good. It's too good for both of you. You have no fear, so they can harm. So and eventually, that kind of spirit will disappear. If you're trying to show some wrath, then there will be more, problems there. So mind, calm mind, peaceful mind is critical for any situation. So, so breathing meditations. That's the start. That's the start. Start. That's the start. So you focus on your breath. So of course, in any form of breathing meditation, you sit straight because something is so it's going through your channels, and through channels, they are merged from chakras, then goes through there. There's kind of energies they go through. So then you sit straight, then you breathe. So Dr. Brown is here. No, so okay. Dr. Brown did mention about Tonglen practice. So here, you breathe out of loving kindness. You breathe out of loving kindness. All the goodness, all the positive things you breathe out. So then you breathe in out of compassion. You breathe in out of compassion. That's called Tong, send or gift, lend or take. This is the kind of practice called giving and taking practice. So basically, trying to teach you that we are all connected, deeply connected. So we should focus more on that than rather than, like superficial differences. American, Tibetan, monk, lay person. These are all too much emphasis. His Holiness says too much emphasis has been put on that secondary level differences. Bottom line, all of us, seeking for happiness every second moment, every single moment, and trying to avoid sufferings. Same Buddhist, believer, non-believer, Tibetan, American, no differences. Same. In that regard, we are all in the same boat. We are all going through complications, problems, difficulties. Till we reach liberations, it's going to be like that. That's the truth, I'm not going to say, it's going to be fine tomorrow. That's a lie. That's not true. Till we liberate ourselves from all the disturbing thought, life is going to be like this. One day is good, another day is no. Or like window broke down, you fix that. Then roof is leaking, you fix that. Then something else goes wrong. That's part of life. What do you do? So therefore, I've been suggesting or requesting you to read about, in Buddhism it's called samsara. What is samsara? It talks about our own existence. That's what samsara is. It's not a place. It's not a place. If it's a place, the American is the first one who can get out of that. It's another place. It's talking about our own existence. No matter how we look, how well we dress, how clean we look, we all have problems, difficulties. So, so it's like unrealistic expectations. Oh, I want to be happy all the time. That's not going to happen. Sorry, that's not going to happen. Some days happy, some days not happy. That's part of life. So as I said, the example that I use, we do get headache because we have head. If you don't have a head, you don't get headache. So that's part of life. So when you understand the nature of samsara, that's build the foundations to have compassion towards all breathing living beings. So that's the foundation. So and here there's many like people here said today. So we don't know how to focus on our true nature, pure nature, Buddha nature, whatever you call Buddha nature. Yeah, we tend to focus more on negative things, even though we did so many good things. Say, Andrea said, we have been loved and we give love, we with compassion. We don't think about that. We all tend to think about something negative. If we did good things 1 mile, we think more on focus on the bad things we did 1 inch. We focus more on that. So, so it's kind of heartbreaking to hear the self-hatred. So, and why we believe somebody says you are not worth it. Why we believe, and why we don't believe somebody who said repeatedly thousands of years ago, again and again, a precious human life. Why we don't pay attention to that? Somebody said that your life is precious, so difficult to find, so meaningful. And it says no. It's like boat. Why we don't pay attention? And why we pay attention to somebody says, "Oh, so you are not. Your life is not worth." All of that. So we should this is like precious human life, so difficult to find, so meaningful. Each and every one of us, we are fully capable to become enlightened. So so please so think. That's what I've been saying last probably now 19 years at the Kadamba Center. So I'm not focusing on how many people become Buddhists. That's not the goal. The goal is how we can think something positive, how we can become more compassionate, more kind, more loving. That's what we need. That's what all need. All does not need more Buddhists, more Christian. All need more good people. Warm-hearted. So then that guarantees all is going to be peaceful. Or more Buddhist doesn't probably guarantees. More Christian doesn't guarantee. People have been saying prayer thousands of years. What we need to know, people need to understand existence, not just you. When you look around someone, if they achieve liberations, they are free from suffering. If not, same. They also have problems. So what we need to do, people need to educate themselves, to understand the existence of this civilization, human, like the samsara existence, and what is samsara. So then from there, then you start. Compassion to yourself, compassion to others. You start all from that, with that knowledge. Without that knowledge, life is going to be complicated, more complicated. It's already complicated. It's going to be more complicated. But there's a few questions here, so now time is run out, so maybe I'll read this next Sunday. So the best is to think something, best is to do single-pointed meditations much as you can. Single-pointed meditations, use your own breath or some single object, can be flower, can be color, can be anything, can be color, anything. Just do single-pointed meditations. In the beginning, it's not going to be easy, it's going to be hard, but we can't give up, we put effort for your sake of your own happiness. That's the way to make your mind calm and peaceful. Then it's good, it's easier, relatively easier to think something positive. We do single-pointed meditations, then think something positive much as possible throughout the day. So then I think life will be, change. Eventually it will change. It will change our perceptions, and you tend to think more about positive things, then life is going to be happier. Okay. So as I said, I pray for all your happiness. I pray every day. Every day I pray. At least a couple of hours every day I pray. Then I dedicate it. If there any merit that I created, saying prayers, then I dedicate it for all the people, not people in the Kadambasan, all the people who are going through physical difficulties and who are going through mental difficulties, such as particular addictions towards all kind of things. So I hear all the time when I talk to people, all kind of problems that relate to the mind, kind of like heartbreaking. There's nothing much I can do. I say prayer, every day. So then I dedicated that, and with mindfulness, much as I can, with mindfulness, then I dedicate all my merit. Then I do the same thing, and also you, please, do concentration meditation, Singapore meditation. Okay. So there's a couple of questions here. Maybe I will say, read next Sunday. Okay, and thank you for all your advice. So there's something happening. Okay.
So in the Gold Prayer Book, page 246, and we'll read the dedication prayer from Master Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. It's on the back of the Kadamba Center Prayers sheet in the white binder. 246. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
Okay.
I'll do a couple of quick announcements so we don't follow the sublime with the mundane. First, just you'll see that we've got a beautiful table of offerings set up here. And last night, you'll see surrounding Lama Tisha are the 21 Taras, and we had a Tara practice last night. So this table needs to be taken down. We need some volunteers to help with that right afterwards, and also with the water bowls. And then Geshe was reading today from this book, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, which we frequently reference. We use our dedication prayer comes from this book, and there are copies of it out in the bookstore if you are interested in getting that. And
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Geshe. This morning we want to acknowledge one of just many of the countless volunteers who make Kadampa Center a reality, and this is Hemet Pandya, who is completing his term as president of the board of directors. He's stepping down after how many years? Almost 4 years. It was a 1 year. We convinced him to take it for 1 year, and we've convinced him to stay on. So he's stepping down. So we want to say thank you to him. He's still on the board, and as many people know, he's completed his certification process with the FPMT to become a Discovering Buddhism teacher, which will be one of his focuses from now on out. So if you could come up, and Geshe will give you a kata. Sit over here.
I'm going to use my own kata here.
Okay. And then Kadampa Center will be sponsoring a puja in your honor at Kopan Monastery. So thank you.
Thank you, and have a nice weekend.
And just to let people know, the new president of the board is Sandy Carlson, who's not here this morning, but has been involved in just about every activity at Kadampa Center. And the assistant president is Rebecca Zuvich. Neither of them are here yet, but we want to thank them for their service to the center. Okay.
Well, I can't really, go after that one. Hi, friends. So I'm Heather, the hospitality coordinator, aka party planner. So we have been invited to Faith and Family Night with other faith organizations in the area to cheer on the Carolina Hurricanes. Can't even think. So any hockey fans in the room? Yes. Okay, I'm with you. Okay. I have never been to a hockey game, but I am up for it. I want to go. So grab a friend, grab somebody in the room. We can have this continued conversation on the ice or watching the ice. So it's Sunday, February 18th, 2 p.m. We want to get a group of 10 or more together. We get to sit together too, right? So it's even better because we get to talk about our amazing qualities of each other. How good we all are, right? So go on our website. The banner's there. Jill's going to get it up. Not yet. Just kidding. Tomorrow. But all of our hockey fans, make it happen. Get everybody else and hoorah. All right.
Thank you, Heather. And we have to have 10 to go. So it's gonna really be cool. We're starting some new ideas, and so Heather's making it happen. Thank you. So I didn't prepare anything today. Snow. I didn't write a skit. Didn't get anybody to come up and do a heartfelt message because I just like snow. What's happening. So I've been. What's that word I'm looking for? Procrastinating. So does that lead anybody to any ideas? It's January 21st. You have 7 days left to join the Procrastinator Pledge. And so I'm not going to do any hoopla. I'm just going to, beg pretty much and say, join on in, jump in the journey. So your money will be doubled if you give today. We could double your service, but that's a little unusual. And double your in-kind donations, but that may not happen. So today and for the 7 days, if you go online, text give, checks, cash, everything you give for 7 days will be doubled. So we've had a group of people who donated to make this pledge happen. The third group of people. And I just wanted to close with something unusual and beautiful I had yesterday experienced with Elise and Hemant and Patty and Venerable Lamo and Christy and Andre. And we got to go to the Mayor's Unity Breakfast she does once a year. So I just wanted to tell you because we're so insular here. We're so happy together. This has been a really full, joyful day. And so sometimes we don't know what it looks like when you're outside and people are talking about the Kadampa Center. So I thought I would just tell you, it's amazing. They, because of the potential visit of His Holiness, there's so much buzz about us. And we're in a very Christian community, and we know that. We were just received with such open arms, and it was just a beautiful experience. And so I wanted to let you know that there's a lot of buzz about what's going on here because mindfulness is a big catchword and meditation is available to everybody. Nobody's scared about it anymore. So when you give to the center, it's not just for you, which is the main reason you want to give because you want to come here. And it's not just so that we can all come here. It's like we are here for the whole community. So from the inside out, we have a big responsibility to maintain and keep these doors open for next 25 years and then the next 25 years. So with that in mind, join the pledge.